We will wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then we will start. I think we can start the session. It is 8:03 and people have started joining. So, hello everyone. Good evening from India. I am Shikha Singh, volunteering as Vice President Professional Development at PMI Mumbai chapter. I hold a BE in Production Engineering from Mumbai University, Green Belt in Lean Six Sigma, and PMP certified from PMI. Professionally, I am working at LRQA Inspection Services India LLP at Mumbai and having over 18 plus years of experience in operations of inspection services and right now handling global projects. So I welcome everyone for today's PM Pit Stop session. PM Pit Stop provides a platform where subject matter experts and project managers from many industries share their experiences and demonstrate the usage of various tools and techniques in their real world. So today's topic is transforming the business led by next gen PMs. And guess who is the speaker? It is Mr. Mitra Wani, who is PMP and past board member of PMI Mumbai chapter. So, Mr. Mitra Wani, with deep global experience in strategic leadership and business transformation, Mitra has partnered with enterprises to align AI and digital technologies with impactful business outcomes. This session will explore how project and program managers are evolving into value-driven leaders, shaping the next generation of agile, resilient enterprises. His LinkedIn profile will be shared in chat box, so please connect with him. And please post questions in the chat box and same will be answered at the end of the session by the speaker. So I request Mitra to start his session, please. Thank you. I'll just unshare.
Sure. Thank you, Shikha. Hi, everyone. A big thank you to the PMI Mumbai chapter for hosting me today. I'm looking at the attendee count right now. I think we are pretty much about close to 80, 90, and the number is increasing. I think that tells me the topic really resonates with what we have been looking for, what we are doing, and specifically transforming the business led by next gen PMs. So, hi, I'm Mitra. I've been working with global enterprises in the areas of technology, strategy, and leadership, specifically helping organizations to transform how they operate. Let me share my screen and we can start. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So, So over a period of time, I mean, what we've learned so far is in terms of project managers today, we're not just specifically delivery agents, but overall, over a period of time now, we are becoming more of transformation leaders. We reshape how businesses think, decide, and grow. So over the next hour or hour and a half, we will explore what are the real drivers of change in today's business landscape. We'll see what are the emerging capabilities that define a next gen project or program manager, and then some of the practical strategies you can take back and start applying at your workplace. So whether you're a PM, a PMO leader, an executive, I think this is all about how PM can help in leading transformation and not just for playing the role of a delivery agent. So we'll also keep it interactive. I know we have chat discussions, and Shikha is here to help us around. So in case if you have any questions, feel free to put it on chat, and even if it is during the presentations, but in case if there are some more chats, then we can take it up midway as well. At the same time, definitely we have a dedicated time allocated towards the end to make it to be more interactive and have more questions answered. So before we start, I just want to make sure that I set the tone right. That project management is no longer specifically about timelines and budgets. It is all about leadership. It is all about value creation, and it is all about resilience. So in a business environment that refuses to stand still. So if you're ready to rethink your role and ready to elevate your impact, you are in the right place. So let's begin and share the screen. Okay, in terms of the agenda, we will have some areas about there are about 5 to 7 different topics that we would like to touch upon, specifically starting with the context. So we'll start with the brief opener and the context about probably might take about 5 minutes or so to align on the shifting business landscape. Then we'll dive into the next gen PM mindsets where we specifically will focus on what you can adopt from a mindset standpoint that can lead us to successful transformations. And from there, after we will go around how to maximize business value, not just completing projects on time and on budget. The last segment we have is business resilience. It is about how PMs can guide organizations through volatility, through disruption, and through change. And then at the end, we'll look around the future-proof skills, where we could discuss about what are the competencies we will need to stay relevant and effective in the years ahead. So finally, we'll wrap up with some impact mapping, some actionable takeaways, and a quick Q&A session post that. So throughout the session, if there are any questions, like I said earlier, please feel free to put it on chat, and then Shikha will take a call, and we can answer those or take up those questions. Okay, so the first part is more about the changing business landscape. So we are living today in a VUCA world. I think we pretty much all of us know what VUCA stands for. We've been hearing this word for quite a few years now. It stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So the pace of change is relentless. So just if you see over the last 18 months or so, AI has gone from something many organizations were merely exploring to now becoming AI everywhere. So it is pretty much become a part of, pretty much embedded in our day-to-day decision making, data analysis, and even automating routine project tasks. So this has the potential to speed up delivery, but also forces us to rethink how we manage and how we lead. But AI is just one force at play. So let's look at other critical skills shifts, which are actually reshaping the business landscape and redefining what's expected out of us as a project managers or program managers. So one is AI disruption. So AI disruption is pretty much like we spoke about. It's here now and transforming how the work gets done, but also requiring project managers to lead change, manage ethics, and even navigate new risks. Second part of the critical shift would be geopolitics. I think it's mainly around trade wars, regulatory shifts, and political instability, which are impacting supply chain, outsourcing, project scope. But these do impact directly or indirectly the initiatives that we take up. So we need to anticipate these risks and adapt proactively. The third is sustainability, which our customer stakeholders are increasingly expect responsible operations environmentally and socially. So projects must align with sustainability goals. We have around, I think about eight, what, some goals led by the UN as well, and we make sure that every initiative that we take within the corporate organization or at the chapter level, we have some alignment with these goals. And PMs have a key role in embedding these
Mitra,
goals.
sorry to disturb you. There are 4 or 5 requests, so a bit louder because I
Oh,
think your mic is a bit far away from
far
you.
away?
So
Okay, okay. Let me see if I can get it a little bit closer. Is that better now? Hopefully, or I can
ye
be a little bit louder as well.
yes, a bit louder.
Okay, okay. So I'll be a bit loud as well. Maybe that could help, or else I'll get my laptop. It's still a bit closer. So yeah, and the last was market volatility, which is economic fluctuations, shifting customer behaviors, and emerging competitors, which mainly these are around requirements that can change overnight. But PMs need the agility to pivot quickly while keeping the teams aligned. So I saw this firsthand with a bank I worked during the pandemic. So they pivoted to digital first operations almost overnight, reimagining processes to meet customer needs in a lockdown world. So this wasn't just a project; it was pretty much more like a transformation. And that's the reality today. The old PM model of managing tasks, hitting milestones doesn't cut it anymore. PMs now need to orchestrate activities, orchestrate operations, deliver faster values, and navigate ambiguity has become the norm. So as we go through this, I'd like you to think about any current projects which are, where any of these four forces might have really impacted your work, and feel free to share it over the chat. Uh, so let's go now. Since we've set the context, let's go to the next slide and move to the next one. Okay, PMs at Crossroads. So PMs at Crossroads specifically talk about project managers, program managers, how we've been moving from one phase to the other. And specifically, we are at a stage where the world we work has changed, and so has what is expected out of us. So more from a business transformation, it is no longer a one-off initiative. It's a constant state. And if you say why, it is mainly about digital acceleration. We have customer centricity. We have regulatory pressures. We have global connectedness. So, I mean, if you see there was a latest PMI's Pulse of the Profession, the magazine that we have from PMI. In fact, they also had mentioned that organizations say that they need PMs who can connect strategy to execution. So that means these next gen PMs that we're talking about, they aren't just delivering on time and within budget, but they are delivering what truly moves the business forward. So think of companies like Netflix, Tata's, etc., who are reinventing themselves multiple times. Every 5 years, they kind of reinvent themselves, they change the way they work. So the traditional PM used to focus on the triple constraints, which is scope, schedule, and budget. I think we've all seen that, or scope, schedule, and cost, scope, time, and cost. We've seen that. But those three triple constraints, do they still matter? I don't think they are no longer enough. So today, the next gen PMs, they need to expand their focus to outcomes, to leadership, let's say leadership across cross-functional teams, to make sure to influencing stakeholders, driving strategic results beyond project completion. So it's mainly it's a shift from asking, did we finish on time, or is it, did we achieve the desired business outcome? So it's not more of just tracking and managing tasks, but it's more about ensuring that the outcomes have been delivered and the outcomes have made an impact. And that's where the company, tends to grow, innovate, and adapt. So I want you to reflect, since I think we have quite a good number of members here. Maybe you might want to take a couple of seconds and reflect. Are you primarily operating as a task manager? Are you operating as a business leader? Are you operating as a delivery agent or a transformation point of contact? And then based on that, what steps you can take to move forward. So in case if you have any questions, yeah, feel free to chat. But at the same time, please do try to identify yourself which category or which role you fall into. The next gen, the next let's go to the next topic is the next gen PM. Now the next gen PM mindset specifically integrates three core elements. One is strategy, uh, agility, and innovation. I think this is where we should probably take a little bit more time on this one because this is where the whole focus is around today's discussion and today's topic. So this is where there is an overlap to create transformation leadership. So these are the three areas which have a good overlap. Like for example, if you see a Venn diagram with these three areas overlapping each other, that's where the next gen PM mindset falls into. So first is strategy. It's about understanding the bigger picture, aligning your project's objectives with the company's goals. So you're not just executing tasks, but you're ensuring every deliverable drives the business forward. So, for example, if your company is focused on customer retention, your project KPI should reflect that. Your every action should serve the strategic outcome. So it should not be just what was the what's the end date or the go live date of the project, but pretty much it should be more about what is the are we meeting the customer retention, whatever goals we've set, not just the closure of the project, but pretty much tracking the outcome. Second is agility, which is the ability to adapt quickly when any circumstances change while we are still moving in the same direction. So while you're still moving forward, if anything changes, how quickly can you adapt? It means how quickly can you plan things? How quickly can you iterate your planning activities? How quickly can you provide feedback loops? And then at the same time, you're still comfortable with that uncertainty. So agility is something which talks specifically about how quickly can you adapt. Imagine a key supplier suddenly falls through, and then an agile project manager can pivot resources and keep the project on still on track. So that's more about making sure that whatever you have resources you've available, you kind of flexible to ensure that the project is not getting impacted. And the third one is finally innovation. So innovation just isn't just incremental improvements. It's finding completely new ways to solve the existing problems. So this could be adopting new technologies like AI, and pretty much AI is everywhere now. I think we even have crypto recently picked up few months back and so on. And yeah, and the last would be redesigning processes and fostering creative problem solving in your team. So this specifically talks about how you would perform some kind of event, some kind of brainstorming sessions to ensure that there is a creative problem solving, there is a dedicated time, dedicated activities planned for problem solving events. So when you combine these three things, strategy, agility, and innovation, you're no longer just managing projects. So you're actually part of leading the transformation change for the organization, changing, you're trying to be pretty much there in terms of helping the organization to shape the future of the business. So compare this now to a traditional PM, where you're focusing only on scope and time and cost. So there were schedulers, trackers, risk managers, important, but kind of limited. But the next gen PM is quite different. You are more now a strategic partner with the business. You are helping the business to shape outcomes. You are helping the key stakeholders to influence decisions. And at the end, also making sure that all the projects are aligned to the business goals. So it's not a standalone delivery center anymore, but it's more of a strategic partner. At the same time, it is more about delivering business value. Like we mentioned earlier, the outcome is pretty much measured in business value. So let me give one example where in one of the projects which I was leading some time back, a competitor's disruptive product made our original deliverables absolute. somewhere midway through. So we were still trying to build a product, and midway we realized that we already have a competitor, and we pretty much can't do much because they're already there. So in that case, instead of sticking on the plan, we were the second feature that we spoke about, agility. So we were kind of agile enough to we pivoted. We kept the strategic objectives in focus, but rather than focusing on what was asked, we moved the focus to what should we deliver that will create value or value better than what the competitor is providing today. So similarly, for example, if someone is in a fintech environment out of us who are attending, so a fintech PM would pretty much would do perform activities like an AI based risk assessments into project planning. So this would help for smarter decisions, faster go to market, and a stronger competitive position. So this is what defines next gen PM. Just to recap, it's an amazing combination of strategic acumen, a good technology fluency, and leadership, as well as at the same time we're navigating multiple ecosystems, not just one or two projects as such. So I'll take a quick maybe a couple of minutes break and see if any questions, or else we can go ahead. Any questions on the chat? Also.
Yes, we have two questions. One is from Shruti Indulkar. She's asking which emerging trends should our next gen PMs be most prepared for?
Yeah, I think in terms of the next gen trends, since AI is everywhere, so definitely that's a no-brainer. All of us, pretty much know across the board that that's a trend we should be picking up. But if you're looking of only from a specifically from a trends, not from a PM's specific from a topic standpoint, uh, there are there is a lot of things happening on the industry 4.0, which is the non-IT industry. There are things coming up, more integrated activities with IoT. We have a lot of organizations coming up with digital twins where you just don't build a prototype of a process or a project, but you build a prototype of the whole city, of the whole country. These are large scale initiatives, sometimes funded by the government as well. So yeah, there are a lot more technologies, but I think at this point in time, definitely AI is something which is creating the maximum buzz.
Okay. One more question is there, Mr.
Yeah.
Ghanshyam Verma. He's asking, Mr. Wani, could you share your experience in any AI project where you have driven in last 1 year? Would be helpful for us to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, so there are multiple projects or programs which do include AI. Now, AI, as you see, AI has also pretty much matured from various stages, right? Initially, it was into RPA, then it moved into Gen AI. Now we're moving into agentic AI. So even from an AI standpoint, we've matured across different phases. But specifically, if you look at AI, there is a maximum usage, or say maximum implementation is happening in the BFSI industry, whether you take it as insurance, whether you pick it up as banking. Now, insurance, if you say one of the examples is underwriting. So I think underwriting is something where AI is very, very largely used because earlier that was the only area where people were pretty much involved in doing activities manually. The rest of the areas over the last few years, it was replaced by RPA, but underwriting was still kept as manual. Now, this is where AI comes in the picture, and AI takes it over. And even within AI, there are, like I said, there are multiple things. There are Gen AI models which you can use. There are Python scripts which you can build and just build a machine learning algorithm. So depending on the type of use case and industry, I think there are solutions available which can fit the problem.
Okay, there are three more questions. So
Yeah.
I'll just read
Yeah.
one by one.
Yeah.
Next is from Mr. Manoj Kumar. He's asking, how do you measure value delivered by a PM?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, we do have a slide ahead, but since you touched upon, I'll just share a quick note on this. So value delivered by the PM is not just accounted by the number of projects or programs you delivered on time and on schedule. I think it is more about the impact that you're making into the organization in terms of whether it could be improvement in compliance, it could be cost savings, it could be uh, generating new revenue models. Uh, yeah, I mean, it could be just coming up with new innovative products. So there are multiple ways which the next gen PM's value are accounted now.
Yeah, we say value is the outcome of quality as per previous webinar we had. So
Right, right, absolutely.
yeah. Next is Srishat Sridhar. He is asking PM jobs are de-accelerating as per recent job market report. What is your take on this? Let us keep AI aside for a moment.
So PM jobs haven't really reduced as such, I feel. It is more about the PMs who have moved into like what we're talking about. That's basically the main topic today. You know, if you are still into a mindset where you'd say, I'm going to just track a project on an Excel file or an MPP plan and just track, are we meeting schedule time and cost? Are we meeting the resources allocated to us and still delivering projects? I think those roles are fading away. But it is not that really completely PMs are going away, but PMs are having more involvement now into the core business as well. So they don't have the responsibility of only, would say, managing or tracking things, but it's more about involving themselves, knowing what's happening around and driving those things till we get the impact or till we get the value out of it.
Okay, next question is from Anish Rimali. He is asking AI governance is still a challenging aspect. Also with DPDP Act will comes in picture. Organization have to strategically design their policies and procedures. So how BFSI industry who is dealing with lot of P2 data will deal?
Right. I think, again, that is something which is specific to an organization. But yes, I agree. Once the act comes in picture, like, we already have acts like PII in the US or GDPR in Europe. Yes, once this act also comes in place, we will need to reorganize our, data structures, reorganize the way we store data, we access data, we use it, and at the same time build some monitoring mechanisms as well around it to make sure that we are compliant. But there needs to be a lot of process changes that needs to happen from an AI governance standpoint, not just government, even from a risk standpoint, and probably uh, you know, get few more new policies in place, get everybody trained in the organization on what are the risks which AI brings in and what are the do's and don'ts, etc. But eventually, I think all the organizations will eventually go through it. And this is similar to what, let's say 10, 15 years before the ISO 9001 QMS came and everybody went through the certification to ensure that all the processes are meeting the quality standards. I think now we move to everything is meeting the AI standards.
Yeah, AI is happening right now. Next question is from Santosh. He's asking, is CPMAI becomes need of the time to understand concept and professional knowledge to handle AI projects?
Is that the cognitive, I think, certification, right? I believe.
Mm, Is CPMAI?
Yeah, I'm not sure what CPMI is stands for. Is it the so-
Okay, Santosh, can you just please clarify your question? Meanwhile, I'll just read four or five questions is still there. Santosh Bise, can you please confirm? Yes, he's writing yes. CPMI certification becomes need. It is
got
a
it?
it's a PMI certification.
Correct. That's the one which is the cognitive certification which came up recently, I think a few months back. I think it's definitely a good certification because it aligns you in that direction, in the AI direction. It doesn't make you a complete expert, I would say, because expertise would still come along with when you're even working on those projects or programs more hands-on. But it is definitely, I would say, personally, I would advise, anyone who's into that area, into technology and AI, or automation or transformation area, and that's a very good certification in that direction.
Okay, next question is from Stanley Christie. He is asking, hello, with more distributed and cross-cultural teams, how should next gen PMs adapt their leadership styles to maintain engagement and productivity?
I think that's that's a good question, but it's kind of a question which also depends on, an individual's leadership style. There is no fixed answer to this, right? Because it's more of you're dealing with different stakeholders. So it depends on. I mean, there are multiple leadership styles, but based on your stakeholders, it needs to be adapted, and it needs to be adapted quite fast because as we have senior stakeholders or sponsors in the organization, uh, and how do they want you to drive the program, drive the project. I think you'll have to adapt, or probably based on that, you can decide what leadership style you want to pick up.
Next question is from Praful Puranik. He is asking, how do you see role of PM in the changing world with AI and quantum computing?
I think that's we would be covering it here because I think that's what we've covered so far, probably midway in terms of the next gen PM and uh, how things are changing from a PM standpoint. But yeah, we will cover during this presentation that part, and if we have, we can always get this question answered again in the end.
Okay, next is Chandan Kumar. He is asking multiple tools available in market. How to select the right tools for project program management in AI based?
So there are multiple tools at the same time. I would say specifically if you're looking for a tool which are AI-based project management or AI-based program management, I think we don't have too many tools which have matured and have been utilized across large organizations. I think most of the tools have come up. They themselves are undergoing change. They themselves as a product are getting upgraded every few months. So if you're looking for something which is a completely full-fledged matured AI-based project management tool, I think we don't have it as of now. But we can, there are multiple tools which can take care of these things together, and then give you a solution as, something taking care of the resource part, something taking care of the automated budgeting piece, and so on. So there are bits and pieces which you can leverage, which uses machine learning to solve certain areas of the project or program management.
Okay, next question is from Salman Sheikh. He's asking AI plus quantum computer is equal to cybernetically enhanced human. You will live life of sci-fi movies.
Okay, good to know. Okay. I don't think it's a question, right? I don't think that's
Yes, they are just commenting on that. So I think that is the last question as of now.
right.
So yeah,
Okay,
we
so
can move
let's go.
forward.
Yeah, let's go to the next one. Yeah, okay. So the next is about shift in mindset and competencies. So, like I was mentioning earlier, the next gen PM mindset, it needs to, it pretty much flips the traditional habits that we had. So earlier we were more about from what is delivered, but now we're getting into what value have we created out of the delivery. Earlier, it was more about are you following the plan versus now it is more about are you adapting to the plan as soon as it changes because of the goal has shifted. So it's more that's where the adaptability or the uh, agility comes in picture. And third is where are you going to stay in your own lane, which is pretty much work in silos, or are you going to connect across the organization and work together with different stakeholders? So there are five core competencies when it comes to the next gen PM mindset. So one is strategic thinking, which mainly talks about aligning projects with long-term business goals. Second is tech literacy. Pretty much we know we can't really run away from this because almost every week we have some things changing and some things upgrading. So we should understand what are the technologies and what are the business impacts. Uh, Third is change management. This has been around and this will always be around because this is what helps us to ensure that adoption happens in terms of skeptical or resistant stakeholders. And the last is emotional intelligence. This is kind of important to ensure that we minimize the resistance in the organization. We work together closely with the cross-functional dynamics within the organization, and that's where also one of the members who had asked the leadership style, comes into play here. Are you a person of a high EQ, and probably there are different ways to solve these problems. So these are the, and plus at the same time, all these skills that we've put here, these five skills, they are not something which are innate. These are something which can be learned. So historically, project manager or program manager success was measured purely by scope, schedule, and budget. But while important, this often misses the bigger picture, where what is the actual value which was getting generated. So shifting the mindset to value means focusing on outcomes rather than specifically in terms of short-term goals. So this helps in increased customer retention, high NPS, cost savings, revenue growth, multiple. I think every project, every program has a KPI defined, and whether it could be, like I said, whether it could be revenue, compliance, cost savings, customer experience, retention, and so on. So I encourage you, all of you guys, to make sure that when you're working on these projects, so you're measuring these projects against these kind of value metrics, not just against the triple constraints that we have been doing so far, but consider these as your future goal, or as your north star. So framing projects in these terms actually will help you to transform from a task executor to more of a business partner, and help your business leadership as well as to ensure that your work gets a larger impact rather than just managing a project. So we move to the next one. Value hunt. I think this is more about. I think one of the members also asked, how do we track value, or what's the best way to figure this out? So value hunt is more about. It's again a key metric here. So let's put again the next gen PM's mindset again into practice. So think about a recent project that you have worked on. Maybe I want you to identify one key business value metric associated with the project. Now, this could be percentage increase in customer retention, cost savings, efficiency gain, efficiency improvement, or any other metric that shows how your work moves the business needle. So once you've done that, then you can also feel free to share it out of the chat, and then we can, if I have any specific questions on those value metrics, on how it is, on how the project approach has changed over the last few years, I think we can always discuss that or answer a few questions on how the focus has shifted from delivery or delivery of execution to execution with agility and focus more on value. So it's more about, in short, this is more about value tracking. It's more about ensuring that the benefits are realized for all the programs, projects, or even at a portfolio level. Whatever we started, towards the end, are we able to realize those benefits that was planned at the beginning? We go to the next one. This talks mainly about the business resilience. So this is probably, we don't discuss it so often when it comes to our current traditional PM roles. But from a next gen PM role, I feel this is kind of one of the core topics to be given quite a good importance. So it is something which is now a very high priority, or even rather top priority for some of the businesses. So it is not about just in case if there is a disruption, how can we bounce back? But I think it is more about if there is uncertainty, how can we thrive uh, during that uncertainty? That's what business resilience means here, and how can next gen PMs really help during such situations? So we've seen resilience through multiple, let's say multiple areas, but specifically three interconnected pillars. One is the operational part, which is ensuring that the day-to-day operations can continue despite any disruptions. So examples could be having backup suppliers, having flexible workflows, or having some contingency plans. The second is financial resilience, which specifically focuses on maintaining healthy cash flow. Now that could be diversified. It could be diversified revenue streams. It could be financial management, withstanding shocks, and so on. But that only focuses on the financial resilience. And the third is cultural resilience. I think this is quite an interesting topic because it involves change management. It involves leadership. It involves stakeholder management. But eventually, what it means is you need to have a team that embraces change, that supports each other, and ensures that even if the goalpost keeps changing due to the uncertainty, that the team maintains its morale during these tough times. So resilience is something which, and specifically in the current era where the whole, whether it is the new contracts or jobs or new technologies, all the markets which are very actively or very rapidly evolving, changing. I think this really becomes one of the top priorities. So let me see if we can have. Yeah, I think the other point we mentioned is about the strengthen weakest pillar first. I think this is mainly about, since all three are interconnected pillars, you want to make sure that all of them are given due importance. And if there is something which is really on a weaker side, that needs to be addressed first, because even the best operational plan can fail without a resilient culture, uh, because you won't be able to execute it. So, it's pretty much important that all the three pillars are given equal importance and top priorities. Next, we continue on this one, the same topic in terms of resilience in action, and specifically, how resilience is impacting your world, or if you're doing resilience on a day-to-day basis, is it really adding any value, or is it are we getting into more challenges, etc. So this is more about just think about this more of a topic which is we can discuss or have some questions around it, but this is more around, you think about a recent disruption, whether it could be a supply chain delay, a shift to remote work, or a market downturn. So then you reflect on these questions. Which was the resilience pillar, whether was it operational, financial, or cultural, which helped your team the most? And which pillar do you feel needed more work, or which was the weakest one? Because once you identify these, I think you should have a good clarity in terms of where the focus needs to be around. And if there is a future disruption happens again, what are the steps to take care of these such situations? Okay, so I think we're going good in terms of the time as well. So Shika, any questions, any other questions so far we have, or I can move to?
Yes, we have three questions. So, should I read it?
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. So the first one is Mr. from Maheshwar. He is asking, hi there, can you please advise how much scope is there in the coming years for PM in non-IT field, that is hospitality and travel?
Oh, I think there is a quite there will always be a scope for project managers, because I think those are the key members or key roles who would bring together different pieces of a program, and tie up these or stitch these pieces together and give us a holistic view. So I think I don't see any. I mean, this has been, if you see, this has been every time when we have gone through complete transformation at an industry level, whether we go from industry 1.0 to 2.0 or 2.0 to 3, and then we can always discuss this right from when we started using a steam engine and where we've reached today. I think these roles have always been there. They've never gone away. Only thing, there have been upgrades to these roles. That's the reason this whole topic is that the earlier definition of PMs, what it was, probably it will not continue for long, but all the members need to upgrade themselves and pick up other skills that we will also talk about now in the next couple of other slides. Uh, So yeah, I don't see any concerns as such in these rules.
Okay, next question is from Anish Shrimali. He's asking, apart from operational risk, market risk, etc. Now, climate risk is also have an important parameter while evaluating project. What needs to be taken care by PMI for sustainable growth of business, keep in mind this risk aspect.
So PMI is does consider, if you go to the PMI website, I think there are quite a good number of articles where PMI have shared what an organization to needs to be done, whether it is in terms of climate change, whether it is in terms of sustainability, or in terms of any other change management process. So I think there are quite rules which are laid out, and there are multiple KPIs, multiple metrics which also you can use to measure these things. So, for example, if an organization is focusing on uh, climate change or focusing on reducing emissions, you can have KPIs as your carbon credits. So, so there are multiple for every, even for sustainability, you could have other KPIs which can be listed based on the business that you are in. So I think PMI has taken care of it, and even in some of the latest, I think, latest articles and books that PMI has printed and shared with the members, they have considered sustainability and climate change.
Yes, one more question is there from Subhashis Malik. He's asking, hi, good evening. Is there any standard of resource calculation for loading in P6 for engineering industries?
Yeah, there is, but probably we can go. It's a very specific question, so we can connect separately, or as part of the chapter meetings, we can connect that. But there is a specific formula. There is specific scenarios. Based on those scenarios, the formula also gets upgraded, and you can calculate the speed.
Okay, that was last question as of now, so you
Okay.
can continue.
That's good. Okay, so the next point here is about future-proof skills. Now, to thrive an individual as a next-gen PM, it's not going to be enough just to manage projects. So you need to continuously build new capabilities. Then there are 5 skills that I've listed here, which I encourage everyone to go through them to prioritize, if not already. First is the AI integration. I think this pretty much everybody understands. Why is it? Because we need to understand, we need to leverage AI tools, not just to automate our routine work, but also it is going to help us to gain actionable insights. So, for example, if you're using AI to predict project risks or automating certain reporting, I think it is going to help you to make some good decisions much earlier, or it is going to reduce your decision making time. It's going to drastically reduce the decision making time. So that's where it could help you. Second is data literacy. I think when we have, whether you take it as AI, whether you take it, talk about data governance, I think pretty much data still is the core of everything. So yeah, as long as you're able to read, interpret, and communicate data clearly, I think that is something that would still be one of the key important areas which all the PMs or the next gen PMs should ideally be good at, because this is going to empower you to make some smarter decisions and eventually help to influence stakeholders. Third part is change leadership. I think we pretty much know change management. We have been reading multiple books and articles and other webinars where they always say that change is constant. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be there. So ensuring that leading your team through you're having some empathy, you're having clear communication, you're having motivation, you clear about what are the end goals are. So eventually all of these things, the softer part of it, even the EQ, I think we spoke about one of the earlier slides, emotional quotient. I think these eventually all of these things bring together under change leadership. Uh, Co-creation is more about stakeholder co-creation. So when you're collaborating with customers, partners, teams. whether you are going to be collaborating with them pretty early in the project or eventually uh, keep collaborating throughout the projects. I think we'll have to ensure that uh, the project needs are met and they are all real, because that's what is going to help you to create a big group of stakeholders who are going to work together for longer durations. Then the last one is sustainability mindset. I think we had this probably point discussed, but yeah, sustainability mindset is more about how are we going to integrate environment and social responsibility. You see a lot of organizations uh, have CSR activities going on or social impact activities happening, but at the same time, now the environment has also got into these areas. You see a lot of organizations recently, or I would say over the last couple of years, also uh, having a dedicated team taking care of the ESG part. So that's again related to the environment and social impact. So we need to make sure that we have a good hang on these areas, these 5 areas, because these 5 areas are going to be the core, I would say, skills more from a PM standpoint or a futuristic PM standpoint. Obviously, there will be other things based on the different roles an individual is performing. But if an individual is performing a project manager or a program manager role, I think this is where the skills will play a very crucial point. Okay, we go to the next one. I think we also had some questions around the tools and techniques we spoke about. So there are like tons of tools, multiple tools and techniques that we have. Just give some examples here. And again, these are primarily PM tools which help us to collaborate with multiple stakeholders, different business functions, uh, different roles within the project, and so on. So collaboration, we know teams. I think you can leverage. I don't know if how many organizations are leveraging teams to its fullest, but there are tons and tons of utilities and functionalities that teams have, whether it is in terms of making to-do lists, whether it in terms of having a separate inventory of items, trackers, and so on. So definitely, I think Teams is something which has matured, probably even a really good project management tool or program management tool. And then Miro is, I think, the guys who've already used it is more about a whiteboard sharing kind of a tool where you could use it for project management, program management. You could also use it for sharing business processes information, sharing some key stakeholder inputs which come from the stakeholders, etc. So these are more of a collaborative tools. In automation, yeah, we have like we know there have been loads of organizations building RPA tools, products. We have a lot of them AI. And within AI also, we have Gen AI products. We have agentic AI products. In analytics, yeah, Power BI, Jira is there. I think we have a lot more tools in analytics which can help us out in building reports and building specifically reports from a PM standpoint. I think there are a lot of freeware tools also which can help us out. And then the last piece is about agility of OKR. Which also talks about, which is more of a combination where you have a collaboration platform, you have an automation tool, and then you have an analytics dashboard. So these three eventually can help us to define, to probably give us more flexibility or agility when it comes to delivering these OKRs. So let's take an example. So for example, let's say if you have an AI-driven risk prediction, which can flag issues even before they derail a project. So these tools are only as good as uh, the updates that we provide to the tool. So the tools can predict all these things, but as long as we are ensuring that we are feeding the tools on time and information is fed to the tools on time, that's when these tools are helpful. But yeah, you need to be, if you want to be a more effective PM, I think it is important to select tools specifically, intentionally. Also, sometimes integrate these tools because one tool may not be able to give you the whole end-to-end solution what you're looking for. maybe there is a bunch of tools which you might want to integrate it so that the tools can collaborate internally and help us to speed up the delivery. In fact, these days, I think everything is getting pretty much, I would say, not exactly replaced, but getting into the direction of agentic AI. So you can probably build an agent for all of these areas, and even using these protocols, A2A and so on, where an agent can, when two agents can talk to each other, you can go ahead and automate to a very large extent. So there are lots of tools, techniques, there are a lot of technologies which are also helping in this direction. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yeah, this is more about the impact on. I think this is one of the important slides that we can touch upon, and it talks mainly around what the impact is being created by all these programs or projects that we go for. So if you look at the first part, it is more about inputs, outputs, outcomes, and impact. So input is mainly the resources or actions you put in, such as training, software, uh, cost or budget. Outputs would be the immediate results of of your input, which is like a delivered product, a delivered software. An outcome. So there's a difference between outcome and output. Outcome would be the changes these outputs have created. So, for example, this new delivered product or the software has led to faster workflows, or it has led to happier customers. So that is the outcome of the eventual, that is the outcome basically. And then the last part is the impact, where we're talking about it is more of a long-term value which is generated, whether it is in terms of revenue, whether it is in terms of competitor gain, competitor advantage, or cost savings, etc. So these are the four areas which eventually I would suggest that the next gen PM should keep a track on when they are working on any projects, programs, etc. Because this whole impact mapping is it's kind of a very powerful tool which helps you to connect your daily work right up to a meaningful outcome, a meaningful business outcome. Okay, so let's take a small example where we need to, let's say, implementing an AI-powered customer service chatbot. It leads to faster response times, and it helps in reduced number of calls or fewer calls to the humans, to the human agent. So in this case, the input is the AI-powered customer service chatbot. That is the input. Whereas the output in this case is a faster response time or fewer calls to human agent. Whereas the outcome would be customer satisfaction or higher customer satisfaction. And finally, the impact would be, yeah, it's a 10% reduction in the support cost. So that's the example which gives you kind of a good overview on how this impact mapping tool is being used. It is something which also helps you to communicate the why and the how of your projects, right? So why are you looking at this project and why do you need to do it and how are you going to execute it? So this tool is quite, I would say, quite important and quite helpful when it comes to specifically dealing large scale programs, large scale projects, and so on. Okay, let's go to the next one. So I think, yeah, a few more slides. It's a couple of more slides, and then if you have any more questions, we can take that. Any questions we have for now, or we can continue?
Yes, we have two questions. One is a very short one from
Oh,
our president, Jacob Zakaria. He's asking, not clear about the co-creation. So can you please expand on it more?
co-creation about. I'm assuming he's talking about the co-creation of a project, or let's see. Oh, he's talking about from a future-proof skill standpoint. Okay, so this is about a stakeholder co-creation. So we are saying that in this case, we are mentioning that when you are working with different, so if I'm a PM, a traditional PM, where I say I'm taking the ownership of handling the project end to end, and making sure that it needs to be delivered on time, within cost, within budget, schedule, all of those. six constraints, hopefully, not just three, but yeah, all of those. So co-creation, we are saying that when we are from a next gen PM standpoint, uh, these projects or programs, they touch upon multiple stakeholders. They could be business, they could be technology, they could be legal teams, they could be security teams, they could be external organizations which needs to be uh, probably which needs to be confirmed and so on. So what co-creation means is that there is a part where each of these stakeholders have to play a role, and each of these stakeholders uh, needs to ensure that that part of the program and that part of the project is getting delivered with value. And that's one of the roles of the next gen PM, where the next gen PM is able to identify which specific area, who should be owning it and who should be ensuring that it gets delivered through. So that's the co-creation piece. What was the second one? We had one more
Yeah,
question.
second one is from Avinash Gupta. He is asking, how does the next gen manufacturing system improve frontline worker efficiency and error-proof tasks compared to legacy MES manufacturing environment systems?
Okay, so we're talking about. Can you please repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, how does the next gen manufacturing system improve frontline worker efficiency and error-proof tasks compared to legacy MES manufacturing environment systems?
Right, right. I think it is mainly impacting the frontline workers itself, because all the new technologies that we are using, like I also gave an example earlier of building a digital twin, or just using automation, the industrial automation, not really the RPAs and agentic AIs we're talking about, the industrial automation that we have. I think they're the areas which are eventually helped over the last few years to really improve the productivity of the frontline workers, because these are only the frontline areas where these automations are helping, not really the person who are more into administrative roles when it comes to manufacturing. And not just about these technologies which are bringing all these pieces together, but also the the machines itself have gone through a lot of transformation over the last few years. I mean, we can take examples of right from farming to manufacturing vehicles, to training large scale vehicle, large scale aircrafts, and so on. I think all these industries have transformed a lot over the last, I would say, 4 to 5 years, and specifically on the manufacturing side. So that's the reason you could also see, though I don't know how much it is in the news compared to AI, it may not be, but it's definitely made a lot of improvement over the last 2 3 years, and I think it will go on much more, the manufacturing sector. Okay,
Yeah, that's
so
it as of now.
okay, so we have, okay, and we also have about, yeah, 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Okay, so we have, I think we have just 4 or 5 slides more, so we can cover those at the same time, and then we can take the questions at the end, whatever we have. So the next is more about PM as a transformational leader. So traditional PMs have often worked behind the scenes, with making sure that the projects run on time, in scope, and in the budget. But now the next gen PMs, they're leaders which are more visible to the organization, more visible to the stakeholders. So they are helping in, they need to rather, if you're not, then they need to make sure that they are helping to shape the vision, helping stakeholders to see why is it being done rather than just do it. The second piece is influencing stakeholders, where we are building some support across functions and levels. And third area is connecting strategy to execution. So ensuring that every task which the next gen PMs are doing, it is somewhere contributing to the business outcome. So obviously this requires a multi-level engagement, not just at one level. But there's always, for CXOs, you can highlight big picture outcomes. For delivery teams, you can focus on tactical progress and immediate next steps. So let's take an example. In one of the projects, let's say A proactive stakeholders mapping turned a skeptical executive into a champion by demonstrating that the initiative would reduce customer churn by 15%. So that's something which is it's a really good example on how the PM got turned into kind of a transformation leader. So if you're part of the transfer, if you are a transformation PM, then definitely it is more about influencing, keeping the focus on the value, and value could be all the three areas that we discussed earlier, whether it could be financial, operational, or cultural. Okay. Frameworks for success. I think we have, yeah, three, four more slides to go, but this talks about framework for success. We have clarify intent, measurable outcomes, align projects, adaptive delivery, and learn and adapt. So these five areas that we spoke about, they are all kind of, I would say these are sequential steps when it comes to from a framework perspective. And these frameworks, these steps also need to be aligned with the couple of points that we spoken earlier, what value it brings into, what KPIs we track, and so on. So if you need to follow this structured framework, or it is more, I would say, a more cyclic in nature, it helps us to connect strategy to delivery and also ensures a continuous learning. So first part, let's go a little bit to probably, since we have some time, we can quickly cover this. The first part, which is more about clarify intent. So this answers the question, why are we doing this? So I think this is the one statement which gives a good clarification about what the statement means. Right? So every initiative should start with a clear understanding of its purpose. What is the business problem we are solving? What opportunity are we pursuing? This keeps the team focused on outcomes, not just output, since now we know the difference between an outcome and an output. And it ensures that alignment happens, or the organization priorities are aligned. Second is measurable outcome. So the question here would be, how will we know it has worked? Because if it has worked, that's when you would have these outcomes. So once the intent, or once the first point is clear, you need to identify the specific metrics or the indicators that will demonstrate success. Right? Again, we've discussed, it could be revenue growth, customer retention, operational efficiency, and so on and so forth. Multiple metrics could be defined. But we need to make sure that all these metrics have measurable outcomes and keeps everyone accountable and focused on the real value. Third being the aligned projects. It is more about, are we doing the right projects? Because you would always have a bunch of projects or programs or tons of projects and programs planned to be delivered over the next few months, quarters, years, and so on. But the question is about, are we doing the right project? Because not every project is going to contribute to the strategy. So make sure you are reviewing your portfolio, your program, and ensure that the resources are focused on those initiatives which are focused on the outcomes. Enabling adaptive delivery. I think this is more about, we did touch upon this on a different slide. It's more about change and how good are we, how much are we agile, how soon can we respond to change. That's what it talks about in terms of adaptive delivery. And the last is measure, learn, and adapt. So it's more about, are we closing the loop? Whatever we've started, whatever initiatives we started, are we finishing those projects? We leaving them midway and jumping to another initiatives, or are we really ensuring that the loops are closed? We've measured, we've done some learning out of it, and so on. So it is more about a continuous assessment of outcome. We can gather some insights and then adapt the future work based on whatever we've learned. So this helps in creating that feedback loop. But I think anyway, this feedback loop is becoming more and more important, considering now AI is in picture, and all these feedback loops really actually as an input to the AI system. So that becomes a prime important as well. So this framework actually, it is not linear. So it doesn't end here. It's more of a cyclic in nature, because once this is done, I think you can go back into why are we doing this, which is clarifying the intent. So each step feeds into the next, but at the same time, we pretty much go back into ensuring the results are measured and there is a continuous improvement. So I'm not sure how many of you really track benefits post delivery, but this is something, I think this is the topic which eventually comes out of this in terms of, based on the framework that we are using. Okay. Let's go to the next one, which is key takeaways. I think we have, yeah, a couple of slides more, but key takeaways. So we went through quite a good number of points and covered a lot of topics at a high level. But at the same time, let's go through a quick recap on some of them, and then I think we have a few more things, a couple of topics more to cover. But in terms of key takeaways for this webinar for today. It's more about which is transforming the business and led by next gen PMs. One of the points we spoke about was shifting your mindset. So we move from a completely focusing solely on a delivery mindset to a measurable business value mindset. Second is the next gen PM mindset. We combine strategy, agility, innovation to create uh, larger impactful outcomes. Third is a value-driven delivery. We measure success by outcomes, not really by outputs, but by outcomes. And these outcomes could be customer retention, cost savings, revenue impact, etc. Leadership, which is influencing stakeholders at all levels, connecting strategy to execution, and leading these programs. We spoke about business resilience, which is operational, financial, and cultural resilience to help our organization thrive in the middle of uncertainty. Future-proof skills, which is more about ensuring we are building skills for AI integration, data literacy, change leadership, and also using some tools like impact mapping to make sure the contributions, whatever we are doing, are aligned with the business goals. And the last one, it was more around frameworks and continuous learning. So we can apply some structured frameworks that we spoke about to align initiatives with strategy, to track outcomes, and then go through a continuous improvement process. So yeah, we pretty much as a next gen PM, I think the focus is more about driving the impact, driving making an impact from up to the future of the organization, not really running projects or just delivering an end-to-end project. Okay, so before we go next, any other questions we have, Shikhar, or we can probably.
Yes, we have one question from Stanley Christie.
Yeah.
He's asking, many organizations say they learn and adapt, but in reality, lessons learned often stay in documents instead of shaping future projects. So, what
Right.
kind of concrete framework have you seen that truly embeds learning into the project life cycle, so adaptation becomes a habit, not a reaction? Could you share the real life example?
Right. So there is one framework which I have been using for the last, probably 5, 10 years. It is called as ADKR, ADKAR framework. You can Google it out and get more details around it. It is a framework specifically meant for change management and specifically meant for when you capture the output of from a certain project or a program, how can this act as an input and can be included for your future projects or future programs. It's a seamless way, it's a pretty much well-defined, structured way on how it needs to be done. But that's more on the theory side. Just to answer this question, more on the practical front as well. If you have documented the pieces where as a feedback on what needs to be done, and when you're running the same similar projects in the future, how you can ensure that these feedback is taken into consideration. I think a lot of times, like if I go for a typical traditional PM mindset, where we had these for every project, you used to build some assumptions, constraints, cost, time, budget, schedule, all of those things. I think that's an area where you can actually provide an input which you can include feedback from your previous projects. So when the future team is defining the scope of a new project, right at the scope level, the feedback from the previous projects is considered and it is built within the scope. Because that's exactly when you realize where, what did not work last time, and should it be added to the scope, should it be deflected, should it be, run separately, and so on. But yeah, but do have a look at the model also, the EDGAR model. It's an amazing change management and feedback unit model.
That's it as of now. No other questions.
Okay, I think we are pretty done then. I think I don't have anything specific. I think the next slide was more about questions. And yeah, just making sure that whatever we've heard on the webinar so far, if you picked up specific things, try to see if you can convert it into an action in the near future, because that's what will eventually be the first step of moving away from that traditional PM mindset to a next gen PM mindset. Because this theory will stay here on slides, but unless we really go ahead and start using these, it won't really make that change. So, and then, yeah, the last part is just wanted to thank everyone. So thank you everyone for the active participation, loads of questions during the webinar and even after that, and a lot of insights as well, a lot of questions which which touched upon by different industries, including the manufacturing and different technologies as well. So yeah, it's been a good session today. It's been a real pleasure spending this time with the good group of professionals and very engaging group as well. So if you'd like to continue conversation, please feel free to reach out. At the same time, I'm also have been actively volunteering with the chapter for past 15 plus years. So even I have my contacts, details, etc. available at the chapter, or else you can directly reach out to me via LinkedIn. And yeah, I mean, if you have any other questions around the next gen PM, or in terms of the topics that we touched upon, like shifting the mindset or focusing on values, or building resilience, or leveraging some future skills, let me know if there's anything I can help you out. Okay, then thanks so much for your time. And if you have any more questions, we can take it, or else I think we are good to.
Yeah, yes, there are lots of compliments coming up in chat box, so I think there is no question as such. But as I informed you, there will be a last question from my side.
Absolutely.
So this is my personal experience. So this is the question I'm going to ask is like, since businesses are in process of getting transformed by next gen PMs in the future, are there any chances that service delivery and operations lead will come under this umbrella of being transferred to PMs, as lots of redundant processes are being overlapped in these departments? So please share your thoughts on this.
Yeah, there is. I think it is both ways, depending on the organization, but it is both ways. In some of the organizations you have where these roles are under the operations or service delivery. At the same time, there are certain organizations where the service delivery operations roles are also as a part of the transformation team. So it is both ways. But primarily, the first one is more, I would say, is more evident, considering, if you're a part of a core business, let's say, for example, if you're a banking organization or a insurance company, I think eventually the core business is the operations or service delivery. So transformation is a role which can be played along with the service delivery roles, but also it needs to be part of one of the units to make sure that it is being driven within the service delivery. If you're completely standalone, these new roles, if you're completely standalone, I think it would be very difficult to ensure that these projects or programs are driven within the organization. So they have a yeah, they are very uh, tightly coupled roles. And in terms of structure, like I said, it depends on the type of the organization. It could be a product organization that it works in a different way. If it's a service delivery, it works in a different way. If it's a GBS or a GCC type of company, or it's a different. If it's a hyperscaler, it's different. So depending on what kind of organization it is, the structure is a little bit different. But eventually, yeah, they work quite closely with the service delivery and also with the technology roles as well, with the IT organization.
Yeah, because this is my personal experience. So
Yeah.
we are into operations of inspection services. So there are lots of redundant processes where each department is following up, and then we are like, okay, it is these are all overlapping. So thank you
Right.
for your answer. I'm really happy that people who belong to my area of service delivery will understand what I meant and what is the answer. So
Right.
thank you, Mitra, for this very interesting and informative session. Sunil, can you share your certificate of appreciation, please? Mitra, can you please, yeah, unshare? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, I'll just tell all the attendees who have asked questions about this webinar that the recording of this webinar will be uploaded on our YouTube channel, PMI Mumbai chapter, and PDU, all PDUs will be credited automatically to your I mean, in your account for attending today's session. So in a couple of days, and feedback form link for sharing your feedback is already shared. So please provide your feedback for today's session. Sunil, are you sharing or should I share? Okay, I'll try to share. I don't have any that option to share. Okay. Can you see my screen of the certificate?
Uh, Good.
So please, Mitra, please accept a certificate of appreciation from our end as a small token of thanks for accepting our invitation to present today's PM Pitstop session, and looking forward to invite you for presenting other interesting topics in coming months. So
Yeah.
thank you
Thank
once
you so much.
again for your knowledgeable and session, and thank you to all the attendees who joined today's PM Pitstop session. And meet you in next session. So till then, bye everyone.
Yeah, sure. Thank you to all the attendees. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.